So in the following, we are going to talk about if statement and different forms of if. To start with this part of the tutorial, I'm going to create a new file and call it if.py. So usually we're using if when we want to see if something, if an event is happening, and if that condition happened, we want to do another thing after that condition. So for example, here we write if 5 is, or let's make it something much better. If A is greater than B, print A is greater than B, and this is a string, so let's put it inside the quotation mark. Okay, we also need to declare A and B. So A is 3, B equals 2, and let's run this simple code, Python 3 if.py. Okay, we seem to have a problem here. Okay, we have double quotation, and let's fix it, and we run the code. A is greater than B, and there are moments that we want to we have this if statement in a very shorter form. For example, we want to put it in a single line, then we can simply write this in this line, but that holds when we have only one action, and this action is printing out. So we simply put it in a single line. So let's test this one and see if there's any problem. Okay, so we have no problem. Also notice the indentation that we have after if. We need to have a space or tab after if for the lines after if when we want something to happen. So for example, if I write it this way, we will face an error of indentation. As you can see, indentation error, and it says that print should have a space or a tab. So let's check it with the space. As you can see, it works, but for a better readability, you need to use tab, and it consists a number of spaces here, and you can see the space much more clearly. And so for the if statement, we also have else. So for example, you want to check if A is greater than B, but this one does not hold, so we also have else. So if A is not greater than B, we can write A is not greater than B. So let's change B to 4 and save the code. Run it one more time. A is not greater than B, so we are in the else. If doesn't hold, then else works, and we have A is not greater than B. There are also moments that we have a number of conditions that happen. For example, we don't have two conditions, either A is greater than B or not greater than B. But for example, A and B are equal, so we're also going to cover that one. And to cover it, we use elif. And by using elif, you're going to check, first of all, you're going to check if A is greater than B. And if that does not hold, you're going to go after elif. And for elif, we have also a condition. So for example, we want to check A equals B. And here you can write, if that holds, if this condition holds, you can write print, and inside a quotation mark, A is equal to B. And So suppose we have A and B, and A is equal to B. And if B is greater than A is equal to 5, A is not greater than B, or A, here it's better to say A is smaller than B. Because we have checked the equivalence of A and B, here we can say that for sure A is smaller than B. If A is not greater than B, that means that either A is equal to B or A is smaller than B. But here that we have we have checked that A is equal to B and the answer was false, we're sure that A is smaller than B. Okay, if we have other conditions, we can use other elifs, and notice that in the end, because we have no other conditions, we use else. And here, if A is true, then Python is going to skip elif and else, and it's going to go after the rest of the code here, Okay, and so also if you have if here, if A is, let me copy it here, copy all of this here. And instead of elif, we use if, another if. Also instead of else, we have another if. Then what's going to happen here is that it's not going to be very much different from the last one. So let me also write this condition. It's not going to be different from the last one, but the difference here is that Python does also check this if and this third if. Why? Because we haven't put else and elif. And it's better and more efficient to use else and elif, because Python is not going to consider elif and else if A holds, and if elif holds, then it's not going to consider else. But here, if A is greater than B, if this condition holds, then it's also going to check this if, although we know that if A is greater than B, then definitely A is not equal to B, and A is not smaller than B. But Python is going to check it because we've written the code this way. So it's better to have a more efficient code and write it in a way that everybody else can also understand. That if, for example, the first condition holds, the second one will definitely not hold. This is also if you have programmed with the C language. This way of using elifs is also like the switch case. So you had different cases that could have happened, and you will cover all of them inside an elif in Python. And there are also moments that you want to have an if statement inside another if statement. And that is called the nested if. So the structure of that if statement is like this: if condition 1 holds, and notice that this is not a right way of writing if statement, but here I'm going to just show you the structure. The other if, condition 2, we also check the condition 2, and then, for example, we do something else, or we use another if. But most of the time, if there's no action between these two ifs, we can use and. So we also have and here if we use and condition 2, then it's just the same as using a nested if, where this if is going to be placed here, and if both of these conditions hold together, then we're going to enter the actions inside the if. Otherwise, if for example condition 1 holds and condition 2 does not hold, we're not going to enter here and we're going to skip this part. We're going to continue the code after this. Or if any one of them is true, the other one is false, then we're going to skip this part. Anyway, so we also have or here. Or is for when we have either condition 1 or condition 2. So if for example condition 1 is true and condition 2 is false, we're going to enter into the if statement. And if both of them are true, we're going to again enter in this. And the only time that we're going to skip this part is when both of the conditions, condition 1 and 2, are false. So we're going to write different examples for you to better understand it. So for example, let's declare another variable, call it, and we can, for example, consider it's 6 here, and so we can have two conditions. A is greater than B, and actually we have or here, B or B is greater than C. Print A is greater than B and B is greater than C. You can print A is the greatest number. And here, as you can see, A is the smallest number, so also this one should be AND if you want this to happen. I'm going to check for the OR, else print A is not the greatest number. So let's run the code. A is not the greatest number.